Welcome all of you to the InnoFact Show Asia Pacific 2021 Day 2. And we had an amazing response on day 1, and I'm very much thankful to our speakers. And today I would like to first introduce our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Kingsley Amose, who will be speaking on the topic Exploring Hospitality Design and Development Outlook. To talk about Kingsley heads the Accor Global Design and Technical Services team of around 150 architects, interior designers, and engineers. The team provides hotel design and development consultancy services for investors. Presently, 1,200 projects are being serviced for the investors building hotels across the globe. And if I talk about the Accor Group has over 38 plus brands across all segments from luxury, lifestyle, premium, mid, and eco brands in its portfolio. The Accor Design and Technical Services team has a bespoke project delivery assistance for each segment tailored for different markets. The Accor and TS team also has an innovation in central hospitality product development setup, which does all the product development for the 38 plus brands. Well, the InnoFact Show is very glad to have you on board, Kingsley, and we wish you good luck for today's session. So I'll hand it over to you, Kingsley, now.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon and good morning from Sydney. Just to set the scene, I've been with the hospitality industry for over 33 years, and I can tell you there has never been a dull moment. And this industry has been evolving the last 35 years. And to give an overview, I started in India actually, and then in Middle East, and then went on to Vietnam, and then Thailand, looked after Asia, then looked after the Pacific, then took the global role in April 2016, and the journey has been phenomenal. So what I thought today is what has changed in the last 15 years, and how are we taking that adventure, and what looks like changing, and how is the investment going to tackle these changes, and what is the future? I mean, in a nutshell, I'm just going to try and articulate this as best as possible. Okay, now I'll just put up my presentation. All right, so item 1 and 2, what has changed? So let me go to the Accor Group. We ourselves, like when I started like 28 years ago, we used to have 8 brands. Look at it now, we got 38, and it still grows. And the way the brands are growing, you have one side is the segmentation, which starts from economy to mid-scale to premium to luxury to ultra luxury. And on the other side, it's based on experience. It could be a classic brand, or it could be a collection brand, or it could be a lifestyle, or it could be a resort, and then regional specific brands. This is already a big change in my opinion. Like staying in the hospitality industry for 30 over years, I could never dream that the power of brands would reach such an extent and would grow so far. And I still remember, like in the early stages, we used to say 3-star, maybe 4-star, maybe 5-star. That's it. So this change is already a big change. And what is a brand? I call it the 5P. Brand is people, positioning, product, and the way you promote it, and the way you program the space and activate the space. That's what one brand stands for. And if I have to go a bit deeper into to give a metaphor to brand is a group of friends. Like with some friends, you may want to have a coffee. With some friends, you may want to have a party. With some friends, you may want to invite them home. And with some friends, you might want to have a quiet, cool, peaceful conversation in a peaceful space. So hospitality is not just hotel. It creates emotions, and it provides emotions, and it provides experience. That's why the number of brands have grown so much. And if I give an example of Raffles, what is a Raffles? That's a ultra luxury brand. We call it's the oasis for the well-traveled. Like for example, in a very busy city like Hong Kong or Tokyo or Singapore, you would create an oasis in the middle of a bustling city. So when people come to a hotel, the brand helps them to feel what it stands for. So I've just said the brand has a promise, the brand provides experience, and to provide the experience and to provide the feeling, you need the product. So that's what I'm going to talk about next. So when you have 38 brands, I myself in Accor, I'm trying to remember all my 38 brands. What is Sofitel? Sofitel, live the French way. And what is So? It's a rebellious lifestyle brand. And I just mentioned about Raffles. What is Mama Shelter? Mama welcomes you, which means Mama embraces all types of people. Anyone who can come with a tattoo or a ring, Mama just embraces you. So every brand has got this promise, passion, ambition. It also targets a particular market. So in our group, what we do is our brand and marketing department, I call them as the visionary dreamers. They dream. And I have a department called Design Solution Central Team. What these guys do is they catch the dream and they translate the dream into brand concepts. And those brand concepts are taken by my team in the ground. Like I have a team in Europe, in the US, in Middle East, in Singapore, in Sydney, in Bangkok. Like we got like 8 different sets of teams. And these guys take these concepts, they adapt it to the local market, and then they advise the investors or the owners to build a hotel that sets the stage for delivering the brand promise. And when you have 38 brands, as I first said, you can have ultra luxury, luxury, premium, mid and eco. This is based on price points. And when you go by experience, you can have neighborhood brands, you can have immersive brands, you can have destination brands, you can have leisure brands. Each one of them has a story, has a deeper meaning. And those deeper meaning has to be translated into product, which is the next definition of a brand. A product is space, facilities, look and feel. So my team and my department basically focuses on this space, facility, and look and feel. Why I'm laboring so much on these 2 slides is this is a big change. I started in a 5-star, that was at the Oberoi's in 1987. I still remember, for me, hospitality hotel was 5-star, very formal service, and everything has to be. I still remember the table setting, everything has to be. The way you place the fork, it was a bit rigid. So in the last 15 years, what has happened is the outbound market of China, India, in fact, Southeast Asia, and also Europe exploded. So more than 300 million people started traveling all around the globe. So I think 2019 stats is 1.5 billion were traveling around the globe. And they're not all the same. As I said, friends are different and you have different types of friends. So the brands started to evolve. And today we have a huge spectrum of brands, like all the international hospitality companies, they all have, I can quote our competition as well. They do have a huge collection of brands. So this is the first change that has happened. And the hospitality companies are having a great adventure by dreaming, conceptualizing, and deploying. So is the change that has already happened. Moving on, there are a lot of mini trends and mini changes that's coming. I just put a collection of things that is potentially happening. So these are, I call it the short to long-term hospitality product evolution. And this may stay or it may not stay. Time will tell. So I call this as what is changing now. What has the COVID, the white elephant, we can't avoid talking about it. It's still there. It hasn't left the room. And this white elephant has forced us to do a reset. So in Accor, we had 8 months of a program called the Reset. We reorganized ourselves. We created 3 different verticals as lifestyle, classic brands, and ultra luxury. because we want to have focused product evolution, and we wanted to manage when the market comes back, and it's coming back. Okay, so what is the first trend? For me, the first one is at the eco, mid, maybe even in the premium, the lobbies will disappear. You don't need a lobby anymore. Like, for example, we are trialing in over 20 to 30 hotels in Europe. The first one was in Cambridge, where one of our Ibis hotel is just a cafe. So you walk in, the guy's walking around with check-in. We call it false on mobile. It's a mobile check-in, and you got the key card readers on the walls. So you won't feel anything. You basically came into a cafe, you have a coffee if you want, and then some snacks, and the guy by then has given you the keys, and you go to your room. So that's one trend which I see mainly in Europe. It's pretty predominantly happening. And this would also force the receptionist to make good coffee, a barista quality coffee. This is a big change. Like, for example, in some countries, a receptionist, a front office does only front office. F&B does only F&B. Concierge does concierge. But this, I think, will change at the eco and mid-level, where you would be entering into, I even feel that we could partner with retail. So not only cafe, you could probably have retail. I've seen that in Germany, where it's a bakery. You just walk into a bakery. So that's one. Number two, say you're opening a hotel, and in your neighborhood, there's a popular chef. He's making the best bread, or he's making the best dosa, or he's making, the best pastry. So hospitality industry, like for me, I'm a culprit. We've been so much templating the F&B, we didn't think outside the box. There could be a lot of these kind of partnering happening to activate the in-house F&B. That could happen. And then we've been trying in Paris. We call it the augmented hospitality. What we did is we created a portal called Hospitality Concierge Portal, which could collect flowers for the neighborhood and deliver it to their home. Could collect laundry for the neighborhood. It could also collect keys, collect mails. So you're basically expanding your service, not only inside, but also to the community. So that one is under trial, and we created an app, and we are working on that, and it's under trial. And the other trend that we are trying, this is also in Europe, is we bought a company called Ojo, which is a co-working company. We're trying to create Ojo Spot, Ojo Corner in our lobby. Like, if you are an Ojo member, you can walk into our hotel and you get a spot, and you get free coffee, you get some snacks, and there's a package associated with it. So the design of the lobbies would slightly evolve to manage this Ojo Corner and Ojo, which is the work hospitality, which I think has got some good legs. The other one is, this is kind of a dream. Like, my team in the central level is working on it. They're going to try it. We feel there's millions of rooms between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. remains empty. The housekeeping comes, cleans it, and you have a spick and span room empty. Can we put this to use to different market for 4 hours, 5 hours, and bring it back to the guest when he comes home? I mean, you can't do this without the knowledge of the guest. You need to get his agreement. This is something we're working on it. I wouldn't elaborate too much, but these are for day use rooms, which could be for YouTubers. There are so many physios I basically see in Europe again, and even in New York, the influencers driven physios and trainers and dentists and gamers and mobile office. This has got legs, but a lot of work to be done. So that's one. And then maybe I won't expand too much on it because we are working on it. I won't discuss that. That's called pop-up retail via social media influencers. Like, for example, you take a hotel and you take a radius of 8 square kilometers, and you go into your Instagram and other social media, and you find out the big influences. It could be a nail artist, it could be a fashion artist, it could be very local. You activate your lobby with pop-up retail, inviting them to come into your lobby. So you're basically connecting with your community again. I think this is a lot of legs, and I could see this is already happening in the US. In some areas, they are partnering, and the lobby is really getting more activated. Gone are the days where in the lobbies, we wouldn't allow the outside people to come and sit. We say that's for the guests. I think those days are gone, but it could stay for high-end luxury, probably. And then I've got a few other trends called the wellness labeling and green rating labeling, which is possible because the new generation, the younger generation, getting very enviro conscious. If there is a way we can rate the hotel platinum, gold, green, and try to market it, and not just lip service, but really, really associated with real reduction in CO2, that could be another trend. I think I'll move on because there's too many trends. And then what I call as, what are the trends that could potentially stay? I mean, again, there are many trends. So I thought these 5 is mega trends which could stay. Number 1, mid and eco level lobbies will be replaced by cafe and room sizes will shrink. I think this is already happening in tier 1 markets like New York, Paris, London, even Amsterdam, Singapore. These are locations where the real estate has become super expensive. In fact, when you take a development model of a hotel, the cost of real estate sometimes becomes 70% and 30% is the construction cost. So in those areas, like what is happening is, I mean, I'm again one of the culprits. I used to insist, if you want this brand, you got to keep this size of room. You want this brand, you got to have this size of room. No way of shrinking it. But I can tell you now, especially in Singapore, we've started to be very, very innovative. Even at premium level, we've been doing fantastic high quality rooms at a very optimized. I wouldn't mention sizes because it's pretty tricky. So that's one. And lobbies, as I said, we are working on this contactless check-in. So if people booking through the web, people can have a seamless check into their room, and all they do is they go through a cafe or a bakery or a retail. So that's one, which I think has got a lot of legs. But I think for this to come to emerging markets, it could take time because emerging markets are still traditional. Like I would say even India, even China, China is slowly moving, but they are still a bit traditional. Premium. For me, the premium or the entry-level 5-star hotels are 4-star plus. Here, the lobbies will not disappear, but the size will shrink. And more emphasis will be done on food and beverage and entertainment. Very important. It's not just FB, it's FBE. So this is, I think it's happening. And I could see in many hotels, the freestanding restaurants are coming into the hotel lobbies, and the sizes of the lobbies is becoming purely check-in. So you come, you need to be recognized because loyalty is a big thing. So you do need a proper check-in and loyalty recognition for the guest to come in. So that's at premium level. Luxury level, I think at the luxury and high-end luxury level, the lobbies would stay. The lobbies, the grand lobbies are big time. And I think it's a kind of thing which the rich guys want to feel grand. The rich guys are still classical, but I wouldn't generalize it. There is a new breed of rich guys who are not just looking for the standard luxury, but they're also playful. In a way, the grand lobbies are here to stay, I think, but this is just my, and the investment will be directed to experience and wellness. Again, I'm going to use the word experience and wellness more and more, just stay with me. And short-term staycation, this is something new. Like what's happening is that the business market and the MICE market are kind of, I wouldn't use the word affected. They're going to take a bit more time to come back to 2019 level, but they will travel. Trust me, I used to travel all over the world, and now I'm grounded. And I can tell you, I want to meet people. I want to talk. I want to meet my team. I want to see new hotels. So people inherently would want to travel. So my view is the bottled up, pent up load is going to come back big time. In the meantime, the urban hotels, they need to attract the locals for short-term staycation. So how could we convert some of our meeting rooms to biophilic driven theaters? You get a fantastic sound system, immersive experience theaters. Or could we have some gaming? Or could we create some high quality kids club to get the people from the city, the common man, to come in and enjoy at least the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But to make them come into your building, you need to attract. So we as a group, we are working on quite a lot of ideas to navigate this that I think has got a lot of legs. And resorts and leisure segments, I think it's set for big growth, especially all-inclusive. If I can go with my family into a resort and I say, guys, don't bother me. I pay once. I go to cafe, I eat what I want to eat. I go to a bar, I can drink. I can go to that restaurant, I can go and play games, and I can have an amphitheater with shows. But I pay once. It's all inclusive, 3 to 5 days or 7 days. That is something which Accor has been working very heavily and we're very successful in the Middle East. We have a brand called Rixos for that. In fact, we have so many shows. It is getting very powerful. I think I may have to move a little fast. Okay, this is a bit of an intense slide. I really thought that whatever I say needs to be translated to cost and space. So what I did is I did a comparison between Tribe. This is Tribe is we call it affordable luxury. You notice the word affordable luxury, edited hotel, which means you spend money where you need to spend money. And Mama Shelter, this is a brand. Mama invites everyone. Mama embraces everyone. It's a very, very good brand. And then you see our classical brands, Novotel, Mercure, Ibis. Our classical brands are I would call the safe friends. These are friends you want a peaceful, quiet, very predictable experience. And many people want this too. Whereas the other two brands are vibrant, high energy. Now, if you are an owner, an investor, say you have a buildable area of 7,000 square meters. So what would you do? If you choose Tribe, you can do 225 rooms. If you choose Mama, you can do 168. If you choose Novotel, you do 123. And you choose Mercure 150, and you choose Ibis 232. So with the same amount of space, 5 different brands has got 5 different quantity of rooms. I mean, this is what the investor look for, because the valuation of a building depends on the number of keys with the multiple. That's how the bank values, and then you borrow money and you build. So that's the number one item. So you can see the room sizes changing. This is one of the changes that is happening and already happened. And then on front of the house, you invest on experience, which is curators, artists, F&B consultants, kitchen and bar, decorative equipment. I'm not talking about back of the house kitchen. I'm talking about if you are going to do a wine bar grill, you better have a grill that is 3 meters long. It produces a theatrical effect. So spend on experience. So if the number at the bottom is $3,000 per key. So try at 225 rooms, if you spend the right money, $3,000, you're going to have a specific brand which produces a specific experience and a brand promise. And look at it from Mama, you spend a little bit more on front of the house, which is you probably have a pizza oven, you have a band that plays, you have an island bar, and then you come to the traditional brand, it decreases. So this is a good model. I mean, internally, we discussed this between my team. guys, if you are working on experience-driven brand, do not compromise on front of the house experience-related investments, which is extremely vital to give the experience that you need. And this is a change that has happened, it's happening, and it'll stay. And I thought food and beverage and entertainment has been something which the hospitality industry, we guys, all of us, we've been templating it, and we've been doing buffet restaurants, and we've not been that creative. So what we have done is we call it the art of delivering food and beverage and experience. When you are going to do a food and beverage, you better make sure you study the market, you study the demographics, you understand the pulse of the city, you make sure you talk to influencers in the city, and you do a focus group study before you decide on what concept you want to do. And once you decide on a concept, you make sure that your pricing is right, the table setting is right, your decoration is right. Say, for example, you want to do a steakhouse, you better use meat itself as a decoration. Like, for example, we have a Karnar concept, which is a star-rated Michelin chef concept. The decoration is the meat. You got different cuts displayed like a library wall. So as you walk in, you experience and you have an immersive experience of a steak meat preparation and how it's done. And it's very holistic. And the way the service is done is the service person articulates and tells you where the beef was procured, what type, and he gives a story. Experience is about immersiveness, and the people, the way they interact with you, the sound, the music, the uniforms, the photography, and the way you market it. So it's so important that there is going to be a huge focus on food, beverage, and entertainment. And this is going to come back big time. The F&B in the hospitality industry, along with entertainment, will be a big mover. I'll give you an example. One of our hotel in Miami, we in fact have hired Broadway quality theater staff to perform a theatrical drama while the dinner is being served, and it's $1,000 per pax. And that's truly immersive. So those are the things that will happen. The hospitality is no longer a lodging. It is beyond lodging. It is connecting with community. It is immersive. It's experiential, and it's different. And that's where it's going. I thought I'll end with how much time I have. I'll end with this slide. I've not gone beyond my, okay. This is, there's a lot of worry and hospitality industries, what's happening. Hospitality industry has been a blessed industry for many years. If I can roll back, the last 15 years has been extremely vibrant, at least CAGR of 11 to 13%. As I said in the beginning, the 1.4 billion people traveling around the globe, and the budget airlines made everyone to travel. It made it easier to travel. And that created an explosion. And that explosion led to a tremendous growth, not just in the luxury segment, in the economy, budget, mid, lifestyle, classical, and ultra luxury, all segments. So it has grown. And my view, it's not just my view. As a matter of fact, when I go around and ask my team, like my routine nowadays is like, I do my exercise in the morning, and at noon, I start talking to my Aussie team, the Australian team, which is just right around the corner. And then afternoon, I speak to China team, Singaporean team. And then by evening, I talk to my European team. And then I speak to the US team, and my day ends. And every day, I ask my team, guys, how do you feel? What's really happening? Tell me, what's the pulse? What's going on? What are the investors doing? How are the projects going? We have this 1,200 projects. Are they all moving? And they would give me fantastic update. They would say, oh yeah, don't worry about it. all the design through web and Zoom. The designs are proceeding super well. And we have a lot of new leads. And based on all those inputs, I can tell you Pacific, which is Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Tahiti, is super hot. There's a lot of capital flowing in here from Singapore and even a bit from China, but a bit reduced at the moment. And they are exploding because the investors are looking beyond. They're looking 23, 24. And can you imagine? We had this reset, people didn't spend their money. So all these savings are going to come out. But I would again say, it's not going to be a magic. It's going to be a cautious optimism. It's coming back gradually, but it's going to go cool. So Pacific is hot. Southeast Asia is getting hot. Greater China, super hot. I mean, my guys are like flat. I mean, all segment, again, mid-eco and all the way up to luxury. And Europe, super hot. Middle East, mainly Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Qatar, they are moving from oil to travel and leisure. They're doing phenomenal stuff. That whole region from Dubai all the way up to Egypt is going to be such a cool place to go. It's beyond belief. The amount of islands that even we are doing quite a lot of luxury and lifestyle hotels, and it's super hot. US always has been leading the world. Like New York is a place I love going there. And my pastime when I go to New York is I take the map, like ask the hotel, tell me all the new hotels that open around. And I just go there, sometimes have a coffee, sometimes have a drink, and then walk to the next one. It's a place where there's a lot of innovation, a lot of creativity, a lot of lifestyle elements happens. And London is another place where quite a lot of new trends comes. South America is getting hot. South America has got huge tourism and travel potential, leisure potential. So in a nutshell, we are looking good, guys. As I said, what has changed? How are we coping with that change? How did we reset? What could change? And what might stay permanent? And what is the outlook? So that's it. So I thought that's what I would articulate and explain to the audience. I hope I was able to do it well. And if there's any question, I'll take the question. I think what's the time now? I've got like 10 minutes. What should we keep in mind while designing a hotel or a similar 2021? Look, this is a very broad question. What should we keep in mind while designing a hotel? The first thing, as an investor, you get two things, right? You have funding. How much can you afford? Second, how much space you have. Different countries across the world allows you a GFA. In India, in some locations, it's 2.5 times the size of the land. In Singapore, it's 15. In Tokyo, it's close to 15. So once you have the space and the funding, the third decision you take is what segment you want to get into. You want to get into eco, mid, luxury, or you want to get into an experiential mode, lifestyle, neighborhood, immersive. That's the third decision. Very important decision. Before you take the decision, you make sure you do a bit of a market study so you understand that. Then once you realize this is the market I'm going to go, then you select your brand. And once you've selected the brand, then you start the design. Very often, the architects and the ID, they get a brief way before this decision, which I think is unfair and it's not good. So we guys, when we come in, we have to really convince the owners and investors, please listen to us. This is what the market says. So once you select the brand, then you have the brand promise, brand ambition, and the market. So you keep that in mind, and then you design it according to the brand and the target audience. I mean, I can give you an example. So if you select a brand, say a Novotel, for example, Novotel is a pretty stable, steady household brand. So you can make it contemporary. The F&B, again, you got to be within the budget. The F&B should be community connected, not the boring buffet. You just go and it looks good, but no inspiration. And room size, I'll help you. Come to us. Our team would help you to optimize and get you more rooms. So that would be my answer. Looks like not many other questions. What does the future hold for hospitality design and development? I think, hospitality design and development, we guys will have to work hard. We have to know the market. We have to not just cut and paste. We have to design every hotel with a deep story. If you're going to connect the location, don't just buy a few artwork and put the artwork. Try to express the story through FF&E finishes. And when you get into a hotel, how do you feel? You need to feel the location, not just bits and pieces. So I would suggest the future is fantastic, but the hospitality design and development guys, we should work very hard and we should be very genuine, authentic, and very sincere. I know it's not easy, but the future is good, guys. The future is good. That's all with the questions. Okay, look, I think I'll wrap it up. As I'll probably repeat myself. Future is good. Hang in there. Have a lot of substance. Keep a very close look at market and do design that is deep. Don't forget the sustainability aspect. Again, it shouldn't be a lip service. You bring the sustainability through operational aspects, which is, making sure that operationally you're conscious. And when you're building and developing a hotel, to be very honest, when we tell the investors, you got to spend 3% more, the first thing that goes out through value engineering is this 3%. So we have to do a better job of convincing the investors this 3% is going to reduce so much emissions. It's also going to give you a return on investment with more people recognizing the sustainability index of the building. So that's something I would add to whatever I've said up until now on what the changes. And changes, hospitality, you guys are pretty traditional people. And to be very honest, all the technology has to be at the back end. Like for example, all the building technology, which helps energy efficiency, is behind. I call the front of the house technology as SMDL: sales, marketing, distribution, loyalty. These are the 4 pillars which needs very high-end technology, which I think I saw a few sessions yesterday. So everything should be on this, the technology. What a guest sees is human action. So that's why in Accor we call it the hottest. We have to free ourselves from the other activity using technology as an enabler and serve from the heart. So that's why we call all our employees as hottest. So serving from the heart, using technology as a backdrop, and make the people feel good as they walk into your hotel and connect with the community. So with that, I would conclude. Thank you.